What up, yo? How you doing? Yeah. Your place right home.
Well, Trump recently announced that he's not going to be pardoning Diddy.
I seen that.
Yeah. Are you surprised?
Yes.
Me too.
I thought he would have pardoned Diddy.
Yeah, because they used to be homies back in the day.
I think maybe Diddy didn't do what he was supposed to do.
What was that?
You know how that go, man. You know, hey, listen, the Chevy in the parking lot, the trunk is open. You know, them pardons ain't just happening to happen. This a fact. Not those type of pardons. But if Diddy does right, and if he's in the drug program, he'll be home later this year anyway.
This year?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think so. He's not coming home this year.
You want to do the math?
Let's do the math.
Okay, let's do the math. 50 months, right? He got 50 months.
Right. About 12 months time served?
Hold on. He got 12 months time. Do they take the 15 from the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so minus his 15%. That leaves 42 and a half months. Minus, he had,
about
was
12.
it 12 months time served? 12.
So that's 30.
That's 30. Minus another 12 months for the drug program. That's why he went there. You do the drug program. They
18
take
months.
12 months off. 18 months minus 6 months for the halfway house. 12 and a half months. He got sentenced when, in October? Was it October?
I think that's too soon, but yeah.
All
right, listen, if
I'm
you're right,
doing all the deductions.
listen, I'll be happy if
You
Diddy's
do know
free.
that's why he wanted the drug program.
Right, to get a reduction.
You
I get
get a 12 months off, and then they send you to the halfway house 6 months early.
This is the reason people keep saying Diddy will be moved to house arrest soon, and what the verified facts actually show. This video separates what's confirmed in court records and major reporting from what's rumor, and it lays out the real paths that could lead to something that looks like home confinement. Sean Diddy Combs is currently incarcerated in a federal prison in New Jersey while he appeals his conviction and sentence, and that fast-moving appeal calendar is what keeps feeding the soon narrative. The Second Circuit set an expedited schedule, which means the case moves quicker than a typical appeal. But there is still no verified court order saying he will be moved to house arrest soon. That gap between what people assume and what exists on the record is the entire story. Everything else depends on future court decisions that have not been confirmed. Names matter here because the conversation online often collapses into nicknames and vibes. Sean Combs has also been publicly known as Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, and Love, and the criminal case came out of the Southern District of New York. The indictment described an enterprise, and it referenced corporate entities like Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, which meant the government framed the case as bigger than a private relationship dispute. That framing set the tone early. It also shaped how every later headline sounded. The indictment's allegations included a long list of claimed logistics, and that's when the public details turned into internet fuel. Prosecutors alleged hotel bookings, supply stocking, cleanup, arranging travel, delivering cash to pay sex workers, and scheduling IV fluids, all tied to the government's theory of how the enterprise operated. March 2024 became a concrete timestamp in that story because the indictment says law enforcement searched locations and seized supplies, including more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. That more than 1,000 number grabbed attention immediately. The key point is that it appears as an allegation in the indictment, not a standalone conviction fact. September 16, 2024 marked a major shift because Reuters reported Combs was arrested and held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Jail time can turn legal arguments into a clock, and this case became a countdown in the public mind almost overnight. November 27, 2024 added another hard line in the record when SDNY Judge Aaron Subramanian denied a renewed bail motion. The wording in that order landed with force. No condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. That sentence matters later because it raises the bar for any future effort to walk out under conditions that resemble house arrest.
Coverage. Sean Diddy Combs seeking an immediate release from prison. This week, his attorneys urging a federal appeals court in New York to reverse his conviction on prosecution related charges or direct the judge to lighten his 4-year sentence. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, joining us. Diddy's lawyers, Jeff, officially filing that appeal this week. Tell us more about their argument and also the chances it succeeds. What are you hearing?
So Diddy is currently serving that 50-month prison sentence after being found guilty on those prosecution-related charges over the summer. In their appeal filing, his lawyers now arguing the music mogul was treated harshly during sentencing by a federal judge who let evidence surrounding charges that he was actually found not guilty of actually then influence his punishment.
Diddy apparently has sold his Gulfstream G550, that's a PJ for the brokies out there, in October of 2025. Mia, you got the final sale price. It says it was not disclosed on the paper, but you got new information.
Well, listen, it runs from between $20 million to $30 million. Of course, they did not tell us what the final sale was. And it's also anonymous. We don't know who bought it.
Listen, I'm not mad at that person. Whoever that is.
Keep it anonymous.
Keep it anonymous. Like,
right.
Listen, when I'm at the dispensary, I check out anonymously. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want y'all to know what I'm getting in the bag. So, same thing applies here. If you're buying Diddy's PJ, you might want to keep that on the low.
Keep that on the low. Like you say, you probably get a paint job after that.
You feel me?
Cover that up.
Just put primer over the Bad Boy logo. Like, yo, we gonna cover this up real quick.
Can you imagine what that pre-purchase inspection was like?
Yo,
man.
Yo, we was talking about this off
Check
mic.
all the cracks and crevices.
Big Room Raiders energy.
Pause.
We going in there with the black.
Yo, you gotta get the black light.
Black light.
They don't even want to check the engine. We don't care about the engine.
We don't care about none of that.
Check the carpets. Check
That's
the chairs.
Rip out. We gotta reupholster this whole joint.
Everything.
Now, this was actually sold due to legal pressure. So maybe he's using these funds to, pay the lawyers, pay the staff, because I know the staff was also waiting for some money while he is incarcerated.
Right. That's what happens when the boss goes down. You know what I'm saying? Them checks slow up.
May 2025 brought the start of the trial, and the result was a verdict that people still argue about in one sentence. On July 2, 2025, the jury returned a split decision, convicting Combs on 2 Mann Act transportation for prostitution counts while acquitting him on racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking. Acquittals on the bigger charges became a talking point online, and that's when "he'll be home soon" started to sound like a foregone conclusion. None of that erased the convictions. 2 counts still stood, and the reported maximum exposure on those 2 counts was up to 20 years total, with 10 years for each. October 3, 2025 turned the verdict into an actual number, and 50 months became the figure everyone repeated. Judge Subramanian sentenced Combs to 50 months in federal prison and imposed a $500,000 fine, which meant the court treated the convictions as serious, even with the acquittals on other counts. Sentencing also showed just how far apart the sides were. Prosecutors pushed for 135 months, the defense asked for 14 months, and the sentence ended up well below the government's request. That same day in court included language that undercut the "this is just personal stuff" narrative. Judge Subramanian rejected the defense's framing with a direct line. The court rejects the defense's attempt to characterize what happened here as merely intimate consensual experiences. Those words left little room for a casual reading of the convictions. Late 2025 brought another date that people treat like a promise, even though it can change. Public reporting cited a Bureau of Prisons projected release date of May 8, 2028, and it was flagged as a projection, not a guarantee. That number still shaped expectations, because it sounds like a finish line. The reality is more flexible than the internet likes to admit. October 22, 2025 started the appeal formally, because that's when the Second Circuit appeal docket opened.
A new Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage. Behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton, who sat down with NBC News' Chloe Malas ahead of tonight's release.
Tonight, Netflix releasing never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs filmed just days before his arrest on charges of trafficking and racketeering in 2024. The footage is part of a 4-part docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, premiering Tuesday. Behind the explosive documentary is Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alexandria Stapleton.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not
disclose their sources.
The recordings give viewers an intimate look at Combs' mindset ahead of his criminal trial, even conversations with his legal team.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps. What was he intending to use it for?
I have no idea what he was doing that for.
I mean, you know, you're talking about a man who films himself doing everything and has for decades. I think he wanted someone to be behind the scenes with him.
Getting it as your bombs. Yo, man, how 50 get, blah, blah, blah. Yo, Puff, take this self doing that. Let me explain something to y'all. All right, whether it's NBAs, whether it's whatever. When these young boys come in, first of all, he only deal with young videographers because he want to rob them, and he know that they want the opportunity to follow Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. They want that opportunity, so they get him at a low price anyway. But when you stay out so many hours a day, Puff wants a videographer with him 24 hours a day on call. Whether we on a yacht, whether we on a ship, wherever we at, he wants to videotape that, right? So now, they come to agreement. They come to whatever the pay is going to be. But then it be so many hours on that invoice that he don't want to pay. He gets in touch with the office. He gets in touch with the chief of staff. Yo, what is this I'm paying? What is this I'm paying? You know what you paying. You was outside all of these hours. It's 160-something hours in a week. You was outside 140. That's the invoice he put in. So now, being if you got a contract and he don't stand to that contract, guess what happens? He could do whatever he want to do with that footage. So now that footage goes to the highest bidder. And 50 had to be the highest bidder to get there. Yo, this is business. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't in love with you. Everybody ain't dedicated. Everybody ain't loyal to the point of stupid.
November 3rd, 2025 accelerated everything because the Second Circuit granted an expedited schedule. And this is the part that drives the house arrest soon chatter the most. The opening brief was due December 23rd, 2025. The government's brief is due February 20th, 2026. The reply brief is due March 13th, 2026, and oral argument could happen as early as April 2026. December 23rd and 24th, 2025 kept that urgency alive because public reporting described Combs' lawyers seeking immediate release or a different result on appeal. Immediate release is a loud phrase, and which meant people treated it like something that already happened. A request is not a ruling. The verified record at this point stays simple. Expedited deadlines exist, and the defense asked for release. The rumor spreads for predictable reasons, and the result is a headline that sounds firmer than the facts. Immediate release becomes the hook, and the word expedited becomes the accelerator, so soon starts sounding like a date. The split verdict also feeds the confusion, because plenty of people focus on the acquittals and ignore that the convictions still carry real prison time. Add a clear schedule with February, March, and April on it, and the internet reads it like a countdown to home confinement. That reading does not match the verified record. There is still no confirmed court order for house arrest. Now, when people say house arrest, they usually mean one of three paths, and each one depends on decisions not yet confirmed in the record. First is release pending appeal, which is the version that sounds like soon, because it could happen while the appeal is still active. The problem was that bail had already been denied, and the judge had already written that no set of conditions could reasonably assure community safety, so any release plan faces a steep legal climb. The defense has sought immediate release, but there is no verified grant of it. Without that grant, soon stays speculative. Second is a resentencing or remand that changes the sentence enough to trigger release conditions that resemble home confinement. That would require the appeals court to vacate or alter something and send the case back. And that changed outcome could, in theory, lead to supervised release conditions that include home confinement. None of that is confirmed. What is confirmed is the expedited schedule into early 2026 and the possibility of oral argument as early as April 2026. Third is Bureau of Prisons home confinement near the end of a sentence, and that version of house arrest usually comes late, not early. BOP home confinement is limited and discretionary, and it typically operates as pre-release custody near the end of a sentence rather than something that kicks in right after sentencing. If someone insists house arrest soon, they are usually pointing at the first path, release pending appeal, because it's the only one that can feel immediate. The record still has no order granting it. The appeal arguments being discussed publicly also help explain why the defense keeps pushing hard. Reuters summarized one defense theme as arguing that commercial voyeurism does not qualify as prostitution, and the appeal has also been described as claiming the judge acted like a 13th juror by relying on acquitted conduct at sentencing. Meanwhile, the sentencing record includes the judge's rejection of the defense attempt to frame the conduct as merely intimate and consensual experiences. That contrast is the fight. The court and prosecution read the facts one way, the defense reads them another, and the Second Circuit schedule is where that collision is heading.
Sean Diddy Combs is now asking for an appeals court for immediate release, saying that the judge defied the jury's verdict during sentencing. As someone who represented Combs before, you think he'll be successful?
I will tell you something. Part of one of the lessons that trial brought to me was just how effective his appellate lawyer, Alexandra Shapiro, is. She's the one who authored this brief. I've known Alexandra for a while, and I will tell you, she's one of the more impressive legal minds that I've encountered in 43 years of practice. Having said that, I think this brief reads compellingly. I think they've already somewhat expedited it or granted her request for an expedited appeal. Number one, that's a good sign. Number two, she's asked for immediate release. I think there's a potential there. Remember, when he was convicted of these two Mann Act violations, if you took a look at this, he actually rolled the dice. He won against the counts that carried a mandatory life sentence and would have basically forfeited his entire fortune. So he rolled the dice and won, and then he was enhanced in his sentence by the very conduct he was acquitted of. I think that's fundamentally unfair. In fact, if you want to talk about fairness, I think the prosecution should be penalized for overcharging him in the first place, and he should have been immediately released.
Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank it once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. And it happens in prison. I mean, you and I could tick off how many times we are aware of somebody getting seriously injured or killed in prison. And so they're going to have to keep him somewhere that they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he had gotten less time and had been at a camp, but he's going to be in a facility where somebody's going to have to, from the BOP, and I think they're well equipped to do it if they can, to keep an eye on him because he is a target.
The current status remains straightforward, even if the commentary online is not. Combs is incarcerated in a federal prison in New Jersey. He is serving a 50-month sentence, and the appeal is active on an expedited timeline. February 20th, 2026 is when the government's appellate brief is due. March 13th, 2026 is when the reply brief is due, and oral argument could happen as early as April 2026, which is why soon keeps getting repeated. None of those dates automatically translate into home confinement. They only mark the next steps in the appeal. A lot of house arrest soon content also leans on claims that are not supported by the verified material we used here. The competitor-style script you referenced included claims about programs and automatic sentence cuts, along with claims implying outside entertainment. Industry forces could get him out, and those points were flagged as unverified or overstated. Strip the unverified claims away, and what you have is a cleaner, more grounded chain of facts. A split verdict on July 2nd, 2025, a 50-month sentence on October 3rd, 2025 with a $500,000 fine, and an expedited appeal schedule set on November 3rd, 2025 that points toward early 2026 deadlines. Add the defense seeking immediate release in late December 2025, and you can see why soon became the popular word. You still cannot treat soon as a confirmed outcome. No verified court order has done that. This brings us back to the premise we started with, because the phrase "Diddy will be moved to house arrest soon" sounds like a decision that already exists. The record shows something narrower, which is that the appeal is moving quickly, and the defense has asked for immediate release, while Combs remains incarcerated in New Jersey, and the next fixed milestones come in February and March 2026. Oral argument could arrive as early as April 2026, and that timing fuels the rumor cycle. Until a court actually changes his custody status, soon stays a prediction, not a fact.